Welcome to Greater Good Radio Hawaii, where leaders inspire leaders. Greater Good Radio Hawaii is dedicated to social entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Evan Leong, and with me is my co-host, Carrie Leong.
Mahalo, Evan. Today's guest is Gary Maunakea-Forth, who co-founded the 5-acre Ma'o Organic Farm and Aloha Aina Cafe in Waianae 4 years ago to help the youth and economy of Waianae. Please welcome to Greater Good Radio, Gary Maunakea-Forth.
Hey, aloha. How are you doing?
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Ma'o Community Food Service?
The Ma'o Community Food Security Initiative, which is a mouthful at any day of the week.
Exactly, it's a mouthful. Can you tell us a little bit more about it and why it's important?
Sure. Well, I guess 5 years ago, maybe 6 even now, that a group of community, I would say activists, but people active in their community in Waianae, came together to do some community planning around sustainable communities. They wanted to figure out what sort of future for Waianae, and they also wanted to figure out how to solve some of the problems then that were just starting to come to the fore, things like drug abuse with crystal methamphetamine, poor education, those kinds of things. So it was kind of a group of younger people. We were younger then, obviously, in our early 30s, and wanted to develop something that would be would generate income in our community and create jobs. So the long version of the story is that it took 5 years to develop a farm, a cafe, a youth leadership training. The short version is that we really wanted to create jobs in our community by starting a nonprofit organization that got involved in agriculture and producing food. So when we talk about community food security, we're talking about basically sort of returning to some of the older ways where we actually grew some of the food we eat. So it's not coming in on a plane or on a barge or from somewhere else that God drops it from, but we produce it ourselves. And within that, we produce jobs, and we understand how we eat and deal with the food. It's a really simple concept, yeah.
How many of you were involved in that team?
Well, at one time or another, there was at least a dozen people, and gosh, this started, the real formal way over a barbecue and beer. And, that was food. So we started talking. I guess all of us were involved in organizations in one way or another. There was a teacher, someone involved with nonprofit organizations. At the time, I was working for the city and county in job creation and job development. And a lot of us were, I think I was the only one that wasn't from Waianae, born and raised. And the other 10 or 11 folks, they were just really concerned about the future of their home. So, over the course of talking, figuring out whether we're serious or not, wondering whether we should start a business or a nonprofit organization or hook up with the many nonprofit organizations that are already doing good work, we did a bunch of research and figured that if we wanted to combine education of youth and economic development, agriculture, and in particular organic agriculture, would be kind of viable. So the first thing we did was we wrote a business plan centered around organic agriculture. I should step back a little bit, though. I mean, the first thing we figured out was, what does our community want? We figured that, if we build a nuclear power reactor in our community, someone's going to be annoyed. If we try to build condos at the beach, we're going to be annoyed ourselves, and certainly we're going to annoy some other people. So we wanted to figure out what our community wanted. So we went to various community meetings and lots of community planning sessions, and it turns out that agriculture was a huge part of Waianae's economy. Lulule Valley, where we're located, is actually the biggest valley and one of the most fertile valleys in the state of Hawaii. But there's not much agriculture going on there now. A little bit, for sure, but not a lot. So agriculture was sort of the key that moved us. The idea with coupling agriculture with young people.
So now that the Ma'o Community Initiative is generating so much success, what are the components of it? How does it actually work?
The easiest way to see it is there's 6 components. 2 of the income generating components are the organic farm, which is 5 acres, and then we also have a cafe storefront, which is a breakfast and lunch restaurant called Aloha Aina Cafe. Those are the income generating ventures, but they're also the key things that employ people as well. And then within entrepreneurship, they're actually doing it. So they're developing customer relations, refining the product, refining services, dealing with the management issues, all those kinds of things. So those are two of the parts. Then the core youth component is an out-of-school leadership training program, and that's for kids anywhere between the ages of 17 and 25. What we do with them is we run a 10-month-long leadership training program that's hooked up with Leeward Community College.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more on Greater Good Radio.